Thank you, Vikram. I'm very glad to be here with Brookings India on a subject which is very, very important for the economy of the country and also to defend railways for all sorts of vilification that has been heaped on it all these years. I hope that I'll be able to do a good job of it and explain certain things in perspective. When the coal secretary said that there is so much of coal at the pit head and evacuation is a problem, I had a similar problem in a meeting chaired by the Honorable Prime Minister in Planning Commission. Mr. Jairam Ramesh looked at me. In fact, he said that it is because of railways coal is not moving and so much of it is in the pit head. I would like to tell exactly how railway sees coal as a sector and how the whole issue is very germane to what the progress in railways is expected to be. When Partho Bhattacharya spoke to me on coming for this, in fact, he was the person who told me this, sir, you please come for this seminar. And he joked that how can coal be there without railways? I told him that we too are Siamese twins. More than twins, they're Siamese twins. We are conjoined. Coal can't be there without railways and railways can't be there without coal. The reason is that in the freight movement, as much as 46% of the freight transported by Indian Railways is actually coal. I would also like to tell you that we are at present not doing very well in the growth. That is what I feel, though the ministry doesn't feel like that. We are growing at about 40 to 44 million ton per year in freight, and almost whole of it is coming from the growth in coal. So that is our association, and that is how we see it in the railway ministry. And though I am retired, but I know exactly how the thinking goes on. There are certain problems. A coal at the pit head doesn't mean that it can be moved by rail. That is the first issue. The coal has to be at the rail head. And there is a difference between pit head and rail head. And that is probably the Achilles heel of the whole system. I have been to almost all coal field areas. I visited them in the field. I have seen the whole MCL, all the sidings. And I must say, Partho may be able to tell something more on that. You have been also a field man. But the problem is that sometimes the distance between the rail head and pit head is about 20 to 30 kilometers. And I will now come to the other aspect of it. When you should also have in your mind a picture of an increase of say 44 million ton or 45 million ton every year means how many more trains to be loaded per day. I can tell you that one rake loaded per day with coal throughout the year gives us 1.4 million tons of movement. One rake per day. It's about 4,000 tons that we move per rake, 67 tons per wagon, and about 60 wagons, 59 wagons per rake. You can multiply, and I'm multiplying it by 365. Generally, we do it with 330. So it gives us an egress of 1.4 million ton of coal a year. So if I have to load say 45 million ton more per year, then divided by 1.4 and it will come to about 35 rakes per day extra to be loaded in different fields. But the growth is actually coming at Talcher and Ib Valley. North Karanpura, South Karanpura, and even, correct me, I mean, we are having, I mean, this is, I found till when I was working as member traffic also, the growth was actually in Ib and Talcher and to some extent in Korba. But North Karanpura, we had a lot of problem of, I mean, there is coal, but it is not reaching the railhead. But then it comes to the situation why coal is not able to reach the railhead. It has to be transported by road, and these contracts are given every year by the coal company of that area, and that is what is actually hurting. Some of these contracts or tenders are, there are externalities like mafia operating in that area. There are some elected representatives who get involved in it, And I had occasion in 2010-11 when I was member traffic and chairman railway board, that at three major locations, the tender for road transportation could not be finalized for nearly 6 months. And I have, I mean, factually, I'm telling you, it was like that. And in fact, railways went out of its way to pick up coal from areas where it was having less capacity. I have a suggestion for that, that probably we should, this coal movement, now see, one train load is 4,000 tons. And if you add, say, six trains per day more in some area to pick up 9 million ton extra, you have to carry about 24,000 ton more. And if you take it by road, it means about 2,400 trips or 2,000 trips per day. It becomes a problem when it is traversing across the villages, and I've traveled on those roads, and it creates a real environmental problem in that area. We should go in for conveyor belt system. It should be a policy, I think, if that is done, wherever we have to carry more than 1 or 2 million ton per year by road, shift to conveyor belt system. Wherever the distances are more than 5 kilometers, please don't depend on road. Every year you will have to give a tender, every year there will be a problem. You have to finalize things. And there is another thing related to the railway movement. When it is coming by conveyor belt, don't drop it on the road, on the land. Because once you drop it on the land from the truck, again with the help of JCBs and dumpers, you are loading into the wagons, and the wagons are getting damaged. So if we make a system where the coal is coming by conveyor belt in a bunk which is on the first level, on the first floor level, and then from there you have chutes by which wagons can be loaded. You can load a rake, and we calculated that it can be done within 1 hour. A rake can be loaded in 1 hour. We provide today 5 to 6 hours for a rake to be loaded. Why I am saying this, that if you see the statistics we did a work with Rakesh Mohan, the National Integrated Transport Policy. Lot of statistics was given there, and these are all authentic statistics. We worked, I was associated with it in the railway chapter. It is very authentic. And you will find that the average speed of goods trains in India is 26 kilometers per hour. And it is not very bad if you compare it with the international averages. The average for China is 20 kilometers per hour for freight trains. Average for USA and Canada is about 35, 37 kilometers per hour. It happens because of many detentions. This is the normal thing. But a wagon moves in a day 265 kilometers. So that means a wagon is on the move for 10 hours. Rest 14 hours, what it is doing? It is either involved in loading or unloading. If you bifurcate it, it may be 7 hours for loading, 7 hours for unloading, taking 2-3 hours here and there for attaching of engine and moving of rake. If you reduce this from 6 hours to 1 hour, and if you can reduce the time for unloading, the same number of wagons can be used for at least 40 to 50% more, The rules for this demurrage, 6 hours being given for loading and 8 to 9 hours being given for unloading, this is the British legacy. We should find our Indian solutions. When it is possible, bring it by conveyor belt, have a bunk on top, and then load a rake. The engine remains attached. You load it in motion weighbridge. The RRs are cleared from there. In motion weighbridge gives the computerized tonnage is given each wagon wise. It is already working, and the movement will improve a lot. So coal evacuation depends not only on supply of wagons, but also on movement from pit head to rail head, and the detentions for loading and then retention for unloading. Unfortunately, on the unloading part, 60 to 65% of coal is going to power, and basically powerhouses. Powerhouses have their own arrangement of tipplers. We have indigenous systems for the tippling, and Elecon company actually provided bulk of the tippling arrangement all over India. There are many other technologies available, but they are costlier, and the electricity boards generally you have to give it to the cheapest tender. When you go for a tender, if it is the cheapest, if you don't do it, the CAG will come, the CVC will come, and ultimately it goes to some company whose tipplers fail very frequently. how to get out of it. I mean, this is it that the electricity board is involved in that. I have seen in GEB, I have seen Rajasthan State Electricity Board. I have stood there while the tippling work. I mean, I have been involved throughout my 38 years of career in railways, only in operations. And I've seen it happen before me that after 3 or 4 tipplings, there is a snag in the tippler. You spend 20-30 minutes, the engineer comes, इधर हथौड़ा मारेगा, इधर कुछ करेगा, again it starts working. Again 5 wagons will be unloaded. And that's why we use 8 to 9 hours. Otherwise, tippling of 1 wagon takes only 1.5 minutes. Just 1.5 minutes, the wagon is tippled and then it comes. The gravity takes away. You don't have to do anything. Yet, for 60 wagons, you need 9 hours to unload or 8 hours to unload. Why? Now, these are things which now, when we have to do 1.5 billion ton of coal movement, you have to apply your mind. It is not something which only railway can solve. I think you have, I'll request Mr. Saroop, who has been involved with the project management group, something is needed to have a holistic approach towards the mining, evacuation and use of coal. It is not that coal is produced by coal ministry, moved by rail ministry, used by power ministry. It has to be one integrated approach, and if it happens, I'm sure all the 3 ministries are outstanding in their individual performances. I have had relations with all of them, the people who were there. I was additional member traffic in 2007 when Rajiv Sharma, Party and all that were there. We used to have so many meetings and they were some of the outstanding officers in those ministries, and we were there to solve everything, and we knew that how in electricity board people were very sincerely working, but yet the efficiency levels were low. And there is so much of room for improvement, and I think Brookings India can probably work in that direction. And that is what I was very happy to hear the coal secretary say, that we are joining together and using this MOU thing. This is something which we were working on for last many years. And you have funds. I had a lot of meetings with the SAIL CMD, Mr. Verma. Both Coal India and SAIL are sitting, I think, on a combined kitty of about 55,000 or 60,000 crore of cash.
Coal India has that much.
It will be about 1 lakh, because they had some 32,000 crore. Maybe now they are having 40,000 crore. The SAIL. So it will come to 1 lakh crore. Why we go abroad? I mean, money is available in the country. I think this MOU, I have not yet seen the wordings of it. Once I read it, I would know whether it will succeed. But it's a very good thing. I must compliment the coal secretary for facilitating signing on this MOU. IRCON is there. IRCON also had a lot of cash reserves. And we were finding out how to use it. In fact, I organized a meeting at that time. Mr. Chaturvedi was the steel secretary. Atul was there, and Atul came to me. I sat down with him and we said that let's SAIL, coal and some of the other stakeholders join together and use this fund. But I hope that this MOU will be a very effective one, because it will solve the capacity constraints. I would suggest, I mean, this is something which has just now come to my mind. We have got 2 dedicated freight corridors coming in the country. One is coming through the JICA loan on the western side, and one is coming through World Bank loan on the eastern side. But a very important dedicated freight corridor would be joining the diagonal, and that is Kolkata Bombay route. You can say Bhusawal, Itarsi, Nagpur. You will understand, both of you, that that is very, very essential to be constructed. And I think 1 lakh crore is already available with 2, and both steel and coal are involved. Why go to World Bank or to JICA or anybody or German banks and all? Do it yourself. I think it will cost much less. This corridor should not cost you more than 35,000 to 40,000 crore. And if it is done, with Eastern Corridor already coming up in the next 3 years, I think it will be constructed. I think most of the problems of coal, steel, railways and power, everything will be resolved in the next 5-6 years. I think one should start working in that direction and make full use of this. And railway would probably be more than willing to give you comforts of rebate in freight, of assurances of movement, and all that is possible once a dedicated freight corridor is there. I'm once again very thankful to Brookings India for taking up this issue, and I hope that this will be a very small beginning for a very big decision making in the coming years, and you will facilitate that kind of policy framework in the government. I am sure Mr. Mehta will be able to lead that kind of discussion, and I'm glad that a lot of very outstanding minds are sitting here who would be agitated with this type of discussion and a brainstorming that is going on. Thank you.
Mr. Sai.